VAT on imported goods. So when we have an imported goods, so at the time of import of goods, so at the time of import of goods, so supplier is sending goods from UK to Oman. So this is import of goods happening in Oman. So the buyer subject to is required to pay the amount to the supplier. So let's suppose there is a value of $1,000 which the buyer is required to pay to the supplier. So supplier receivable will be $1,000. Now this buyer is within the jurisdiction of Oman tax authority. So tax authority will make liable this buyer to pay VAT. So the tax authority will calculate the VAT on this supply, on this import. Since the value of supply is $1,000, so 5% VAT will be calculated. And this $1,000 is in other than currency, other than Omani Real currency. So we have to convert this into X by using the exchange rate. So let's suppose the exchange rate is 0.38. So VAT liability becomes $19, 19 Omani Real. So 19 Omani Real has to be paid to the tax authority by this buyer, because this buyer is falling within the jurisdiction of Oman tax authority. So there is a reverse charge liability arises, and buyer is now required to pay $1,000 to the supplier and $50 equivalent to 19 Omani Riyal to the tax authority in Oman. And as we understand, VAT is not a cost to the business, it's a cost to the final consumer. So business, if the business is VAT registered business, they can claim input VAT credit at 19 Riyal also. So to ensure there is no VAT cost, so once on the one hand they have reverse charge liability, on secondly they can also get the benefit of input VAT credit. Now next comes, when we in this invoice you will notice that there is a $1,000 is there value of supply. Now Royal Decree Law as per Article 68, the law mandates to convert the invoice, foreign currency invoice, to Omani Real currency invoice. The tax value we have to calculate in Omani Real currency using the average purchase and sale price of the currency published by Central Bank of Oman at the tax due date. So we have to use the average sale and purchase price of the currency issued by Central Bank of Oman to convert this tax due date, tax payable. So in case of import of goods or import of services, we have to exercise this. We have to use the exchange rates. Now through a diagrammatic presentation, in case of import of goods happening, we have to apply reverse charge mechanism. We have to levy VAT rate and we have to pay the tax to the tax authorities. And if the business is registered under VAT, they can claim input VAT credit. Now over here, the most important is the business can claim input VAT credit only if the business is registered under VAT. So referring to slides previously when we went through in classes in case of VAT registration A, B, C, D category. So if the business is registered and if the business is not registered on 16th of April, any business is making any imports effective from 16th of April and the business is not registered under VAT, they are required to pay value added taxes, because the effective date of value added tax is 16th of April 2021 at the country level. So any imports happening within Oman is subject to VAT at 5% on reverse charge also, irrespective whether the business is registered under VAT or not registered. Otherwise, there are going to be certain tax evasion policies which will be strategies will be followed and will be made. So to avoid such strategies, the government will have given voluntary VAT registration timelines also, so that business can prepare and they can opt for their voluntary VAT registration also. So this import reverse charge will be start effective from 16th of April. Now, this in case of import of goods, the whole mechanism will be monitored by custom authorities. So custom authority will never release the goods until the custom custom duty and the VAT is paid to the custom authorities at the time of clearance. Now, this is in case of goods. If we have import of services or online purchases, and we are making payments to companies which are sitting outside Oman, the law requires us to consider reverse charge liability in case of import of goods and online purchases also. And this we have to self-regulate it in our books of accounts, where we don't have to pay the tax to the tax authorities under reverse charge, but we have to self-account it, and we have to report in the value-added tax return, as well as we have to take in, we can immediately take input VAT credit on those import of services. So in an overall, if we see the place of supply based taxability, considering any imports happening from a place outside GCC, so any imports we take from outside GCC, it's taxable at 5% under reverse charge. And if the business is registered under VAT, they are allowed to claim input VAT credit. So to ensure there is no VAT cost on imports on account of value added tax. While any imports we make from a place within GCC, so if we are making any import from UAE or Bahrain or KSA into Oman, currently there is no electronic services system established. So when there is no such system is not established, any imports we make into Oman from UAE, KSA or Bahrain, it's taxable at 5% under reverse charge. And business is allowed to claim input VAT credit on those imports also. While once this system gets established, then any imports happening in Oman from UAE, KSA, Bahrain, Qatar or Kuwait, then we don't have to apply reverse charge, but the VAT will be collected by the GCC VAT registered supplier. So what we will pay VAT to them, and in Oman we can claim GCC input VAT credit at that point of time. Now VAT says that VAT shall be levied whenever any event happen first. So if we have a date of payment, means advance payment is there, or date of raising an invoice is there, or supply of goods and services there. Whichever event happened first, the VAT gets levied on that event. But there's slightly a different, the law requires in case of imports, the VAT gets levied only on the event when supply happens. So in case of import of goods, if we are making an advance payment, the VAT shall not be levied until the goods are imported into Oman. So reverse charge VAT shall be levied at the time of import of goods only, and that shall be calculated by the custom authorities. So in case of domestic supplies or in case of import of services also, if we are making an advance payment, we can levy VAT on advance payment. But in case of import of goods, the date of applicability of reverse charge liability shall fall only on the date when the goods imported, and that shall be calculated by the custom authorities. There is a VAT return format which we have just displayed. So this is the VAT return format going to be there, but which we prepared referring to Bahrain, KSA and UAE legislation, how the VAT return flows. So when we are reporting these numbers in the VAT return, we have to report the goods imported subject to reverse charge mechanism. So value of supply, the VAT amount has to be reported. And in case of import of services which are subject to VAT, so other imports, whatever is there, which is more likely is we include over here the services, import of services, we can put the value of services, and against that we will be allowed to claim 100% input VAT credit. So these reverse charge transactions will be required to be reported under the VAT return. Next comes with the transitional provisions. So we all understand that as on 16th of April 2021, of course, there are going to be open transactions which will carry forward from pre-VAT period to post-VAT period. So, and what will be the VAT treatment followed on the on those transition on those open transactions? So, transition challenges, there is Article 104 and 105 which covers such type of transactions, and as well as those transactions referred in VAT GCC VAT agreement as well also. So we have pre-VAT transactions and post-VAT transactions. The most important is pre-VAT transactions if they are open transactions, and those transactions will be complete in post-VAT period. So what will be the VAT treatment on those transactions? So let's analyze one by one. In pre-VAT period, we have paid some advances, and the supply is happening in post-VAT period. Now, in initial slides, if we see, we understand that value-added tax underlying base is the supply. So if supply is happening post-VAT period, irrespective the advance paid, whether in 100% or any partial percentage in pre-VAT period, that supply subject to VAT at 5% in post-VAT period, because it's happening in post-VAT period, so that supply is subject to VAT at 5%. Next is retention for supplies happen in pre-VAT period. So there can be a case that the business have retentions, opening retentions, either payable or receivable, for supplies already happened in pre-VAT period. In such cases, we have to make an assessment based on the contractual terms. If the contractual terms requires to make a supply for the release of this retention in post-VAT period, those retentions can become subject to VAT at 5%. But it is an assessment, it will be assessment of contractual terms only, and then only the applicability of value added tax will be assessed. Next, in pre-VAT period, the supply happened, and in post-VAT period, the invoice is raised. So any supply happened in, let's suppose in March, and for March supply, we have raised the invoice in post-VAT period in post 14th, in post 16th of April. So when the invoice is raised, so we understand that VAT base is supply, which already happened in pre-VAT period. So it is non-taxable. Even though if the payment is received in post-VAT period, supply happened in pre-VAT period and we are receiving the payment against those supplies. So it's non-taxable because supply happened already in pre-VAT period. Now, in this case, when we are receiving any invoice or any payment in post-VAT period, the tax authorities in future can audit our records, including the invoicing, including the payments which we receive or we make in post-VAT period. So our records are subject to VAT audit effective from 16th of April 2021. And government have taken a timeline for minimum 10 years we have to maintain the records. So that means when we are raising an invoice in post-VAT period or we are receiving a payment in post-VAT period, we have to ensure that all our documents are accurately stating those facts that these supplies, the supplies against these invoices or the supplies against the payment received are happened in pre-VAT period. So we should have valid delivery vouchers, the goods receipt note in records, which substantiate that, and those deliveries notes, those goods receipt voucher should be approved and signed by appropriate persons who are involved in receiving the goods, so that to ensure that these supplies happen in pre-VAT period. Because the audit, when it goes in audit, they can see the invoices, they can see the payments happen in bank account also, so to ascertain whether there is no tax evasion is happening. Then there can be a case we have prepayments outstanding as on 16th of April 2021. So prepayments, if any, happening, and which means there is a supply against those prepayments will happen in post-VAT period. So let's suppose taking an example of um, insurance premium. So insurance premium is a taxable service. So on 16th April 2021, if you have unamortized value of insurance premium, which means there is an unexpired insurance premium period is there. And for unexpired insurance premium, unexpired insurance period, the insurance companies are required to provide their services, and their services is taxable at 5%. So there may be a probability that insurance company will levy VAT at 5% and they raise the tax invoice to us and we have to pay the VAT to them. So that to the value of unamortized value, the insurance premium is subject to VAT at 5%. So it's taxable at 5%. The next most important mention in the law, contracts signed in pre-VAT period for supplies to happen in post-VAT period. So any supplies happened in pre-VAT period or any contract signed in pre-VAT period. So those contracts requires that the supply will happen in post-VAT period. In those contracts, as per the law, they will be testified for VAT clause. Now this, as per the law, as per Article 105, it requires that contract when it's signed in pre-VAT period and supply is happening post-VAT period, whether those contracts are silent in VAT clause or not, whether there is any referral related to value added tax, who is going to bear the burden of value added tax, whether the VAT will be charged separately or not separately. So if that clause is not there in those contracts, then the law says that those contracts will be deemed as including value added taxes, and business will not be allowed to claim extra VAT on the value what is decided in pre-VAT period. So we are still waiting for detailed executive regulation because this clause was listed in UAE law as well also when it was announced. But through an executive regulation, it was given a benefit to those businesses where they are making supplies to the businesses only. If the supply is referring to a business, then they can claim input VAT credit. They can charge extra VAT to the business. But if the supply is to a final consumer, to the retailer, so in that case, they won't be able to claim input VAT credit, and then it is becoming cost to the business. So they cannot claim extra VAT from the consumer. Only in case of businesses they can do. So however, the detailed executive regulation, until it is not there, we have to assume that whatever the contract is signed in pre-VAT period, and if there is no VAT clause in those contracts will be subject to, will be considered as including value added taxes. So this is our reverse charge and transitional provisions, and of course there are non-compliance penalties also from 1,000 to 10,000 riyal, and any deliberate fraudulent action happens from 5,000 to 20,000 riyals. In terms of documentation maintenance, so for non-capex transaction, the businesses are required to maintain documentation for 10 years up to, while in case of real estate transaction, the businesses are required to maintain 15 years documentation. So the VAT audit can goes up to 10 years, anytime within the 10 years, or for non-capex transaction. And for real estate transaction, the audit can go up to 15 years. So with this, every entire business functions, administrative function gets impact, and this is we try to cover within this presentation. Hello, Shilpa.
Yes.
Yeah. So this we covered the presentation for VAT reverse charge and transition provisions.
Thank you so much for your insights. Every time we have a session, we learn a lot more about VAT. So thank you so much. Shall I open up the floor for questions now?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll read them out for you.
You're right. Right.
Okay. So the first question we have is from an anonymous attendee. You can stop screening if you want.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He says, we are a service provider in engineering consultancy company, and we do our services to overseas clients. Now VAT will be applicable. So do we need to charge VAT to the overseas clients, or will it come under export of services where VAT will be zero rate? As per definition, place of supply for services is considered where the service provider is resident. So how do we deal with VAT on these scenarios? Similarly, we take services from overseas also. Please suggest.
See, in case of first question, when we are providing services to overseas companies, we need to testify two things into this, that the services which we are providing to those overseas companies, those services where it is going to be consumed. If the services we are providing and consumed within Oman, then those services become taxable at 5%, because the purpose of usage of that service is happening within Oman itself. But if, even if irrespective, we are raising an invoice to an overseas company also, because the end use of that service is happening within Oman. But if that service usage is going to be used outside Oman, and the overseas companies, we are invoicing to an overseas company itself, then those services become falls under export supplies, and that becomes taxable at 0%. While the second question, when we are receiving any invoice from overseas companies for services received within Oman, that falls under import of services, and we have to account reverse charge mechanism, and we have to apply 5% VAT, and simultaneously they can claim input VAT credit against those supplies, provided they must be VAT registered business in Oman.
Thank you. The next question is from again an anonymous attendee. He says, our company provides management support to the overseas clients in support to execute large scale of projects. And we arrange with them all kinds of supply and services from different parts of the world. The supply and services will be delivered directly to the clients along with its invoices. Our role is to make the payments to the suppliers on behalf of the clients, and we will be charged back to the client our administrative fee along with the payment what we made to the supplier on their behalf. In this case, how to charge VAT and on what amount? Later on, the client will remit our invoice for full payment, that is payment made to our supplier plus our administrative fee.
See, in case of this, we have to refer first to the contractual terms, how the transaction is set between them, and if they are getting the reimbursement for whatever the suppliers they are making on behalf of client. So we have to see in what transaction they are making, the what is the nexus between the company, the suppliers, and the client. So if they are raising an invoice to their client with the full amount, that will become subject to VAT at 5%. Means it's an overseas supplier, so it is fall under export supply, so there will be 0% VAT. While if they're getting an invoice from supplier which is in their own name, then it becomes an import of supply services. So we have to see that how the transaction is setting, and whether the supplier is raising an invoice directly to a client, and this company is arranging making a payment on behalf of them. So supplier invoice in whose name it's addressed, based on that the taxability will arise. So if their supplier invoice is in their name in Oman, then those supplies will become subject to imports, and we have to apply reverse charge mechanism. And when they are invoicing to client back, it will fall under the export of supply services. But still the context need to be assessed for the transaction purposes.
Thank you. The next question is from Karthik Kumar Kuti. He asks, when is ESS expected to be implemented?
Mr. Karthik, we believe that now Qatar and Kuwait will start implementing value-added taxes. Of course, in next 2 to 3 years timeline. Once the Qatar and Kuwait will start effective value-added tax, I believe 1 more year will be there to establish this online platform of registering all suppliers and buyers on that platform. So minimum 3 to 4 years, I can expect that this platform will get activated.
Thank you. The next question is again from an anonymous attendee. He says, we have a trading company. Can we claim input credit of VAT paid on expenses like rent, water, electricity, and audit fees, etc.? Or will we be the end user of those services?
What nature of service they are into? Business?
He says, we are a trading company. And can we
Okay.
claim input credit of VAT paid on different expenses?
Right. First, yes, you can claim input VAT credit, but provided your business must be VAT registered business. So if the business, because Oman have implementing value-added tax in a phased manner, so businesses are going to be registered in a phased manner. If the business is registered under VAT at the time of receiving the invoice, whatever VAT they pay to their suppliers, they can claim input VAT credit. But if the business is not registered under VAT, they are mandated to pay VAT to the suppliers, but they cannot claim input VAT credit.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Anup Padmakumar. He asks, what will be the implication of VAT on Islamic banking transactions?
In Oman legislation, the royal decree law, they have not mentioned the Islamic finance products, but what we believe that in executive regulation they will include, referring to UAE, KSA, and Bahrain law, they have given the same status as a for non-Islamic products. So Islamic product will follow the same principles of value-added taxes.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Sandeep Nabira. He asks, in case of services, import of services, withholding taxes are applicable. Will VAT be on top of the withholding tax payable?
Currently, there is no clarification as on date. So we used to say that if the supplier is outside Oman and we are deducting value added withholding tax on it, so when the clarification is not there, so we used to assume that VAT will be on top of it. Means VAT will be included under value added withholding taxes. But we believe that clarification will come in due course of time, which will try to exclude withholding tax on VAT amount.
Thanks. The next question is from an anonymous attendee. He asks, for RCM input tax, credit can be claimed by the local buyer if the foreign supplier is not VAT registered in Oman.
Yes, of course, because foreign VAT registered supplier can never are not obliged to register, because they're just sending their goods supplies into Oman, and when we are collecting, so we are purchasing in Oman, means we are importing in Oman, so we are obliged to pay VAT under reverse charge, and simultaneously we can claim input VAT credit. So Oman, the foreign suppliers will never charge VAT because they are not registered in Oman VAT legislation. So we are registered, we have to comply with the regulations.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Vaidyanathan. He asks, how does the reverse charge work when an individual imports an item from outside Oman? Say, for example, he or she buys a laptop from UAE.
Right. See, in case of personal baggage or personal belongings, there is one clause mentioned in the law that personal belongings, when you are bringing, it will become exempt. But what they have mentioned, in case of citizens, they have citizens of Oman, they are allowed anytime whenever they are coming into, there will be it will be exempt. But in case of foreigners, when they're coming into Oman for staying purposes, at the first time when they're whatever they are bringing, that will become exempt. But in case of other things, I believe it will be also exempt under VAT, because when they're purchasing in UAE, they must have paid VAT in UAE over there.
Okay. The next question is again from an anonymous attendee. He asks, import of goods get registered at customs point, but how do we get register import of services and pay VAT and claim it as input credit?
See, in case of import of services, what will happen? We have to self-regulate the import of services transactions. So once to regulate those transactions, the business must be registered under VAT. And once the business is registered under VAT, they are required to self-monitor it. So they have to self-report the transaction. During the presentation, if you see, there's a in VAT written format was shown. So in that, there are two columns: import of goods, where we have to provide import of goods supplies values, and there is another import of imports which is fall under reverse charge mechanism, in which we have to report the import of services supplies. So we have to self-regulate the values on those import of services.
Thank you. Mr. Radhakrishnan has a question for you. He asks, some UAE suppliers charge 5% VAT. Now, how to avoid hassles from their side to maintain documentation? If this continues after 16th of April, how should we treat, and we will still need to pay 5% to customs authority?
See, currently, when we are importing from UAE to Oman, and if UAE vendors are charging VAT, normally they should not charge VAT at 5%, but they are charging because there are no custom documentation is happening. Those transactions are cleared without custom clearance. That's why they are charging VAT at 5%. But once we have custom clearance documentation, then VOE vendor cannot charge VAT at 5%. And in Oman, when we are importing post 16th April, we have to pay VAT under reverse charge to tax authorities. We can claim input VAT credit. But if custom clearance documents are not there, UAE vendor will charge. And in Oman, when it comes without custom clearance, we are mandated to provide reverse charge again under import of goods, even though those are not cleared through custom authorities. Because over here we do have income tax law also, and income tax, when we submit, we need to submit the incomes and the expenditures, so they will monitor our incomes and expenditure, and any expenditure which falls under import of goods and those are not reported under custom authorities, they will object that the reverse charge, why the reverse charge not calculated on import of goods. So we have to regulate those transactions properly.
The next question is again from an anonymous attendee. He asks, if there is a sale in pre-VAT times and there is a sales return post-VAT, what will be the applicability of VAT?
See, the underlying base of VAT is supply only. Now, we have supplied in pre-VAT period, and when we are getting a return of that same supply, so it's just a reversal of the supply which happened in pre-VAT period. So we just have to issue a tax credit note without value-added taxes, because initially when we sold, it was without VAT. So when it comes back again, it's without VAT only. But when the same metal, when we sold in post-VAT, we have to apply value-added tax.
Thank you. The next question is again from an anonymous attendee. He asks, what happens when there is a sale of scrap of assets and goods?
In case of sale of scrap, yes, we have to apply VAT, because VAT do whatever sales we make from our business in whatever form. If it's a taxable supply, we have to apply VAT on the scrap also.
Thanks.
And there's one more provision is available in the law. If the scrap is sold and there is no value attached to it, means we haven't collected any money. So those supplies are also subject to deemed supply provisions. So we have to assess as per the deemed supply provisions also, whether the VAT will be paid or not paid.
Thank you. There is another question from an anonymous attendee. He asks, in case of imports, if advance money has been paid to the supplier, then in RCM, what will be the VAT charge event?
In case of import, we have to segregate whether it's an import of goods or import of services. If it is an import of goods, then the law mandates that in case of import of goods, the VAT liability falls on at the date of import, which means at the date of clearance by the custom authorities. So custom authority will calculate the VAT on the goods. That what VAT they calculate, then that VAT we have to pay to the custom authorities and to get the metal cleared. So at the time of advance payment for import of goods, we don't have to account for reverse charge liability. While in case of import of services, what advance we are making payment, so the service invoice, whatever I believe it will be a foreign currency invoice. So we have to convert the exchange rate using central bank rate what they published. So that rate we have to apply on at the time of advance, which we can cover into import of services value. We need to provide reverse charge liability, as well as we can claim input VAT credit on the advance value.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Ranjit Shah. He asks, if an individual service provider or a small consultancy services who is not required to register as per Oman VAT law norms is providing a taxable service to a customer who is registered, as service providers are not registered, that invoice will not show VAT. Whether the receiving company will charge VAT in reverse charging method?
Currently, we don't have domestic reverse charge. So in future, if it happens, then it will, the company, when they are purchasing, then they have to account for. But currently, when that domestic reverse charge we don't have, then in that case, companies, when they are purchasing from unregistered suppliers, they just have to account that purchase is made from unregistered suppliers.
Thanks. Again, there's a question from an anonymous attendee. He asks whether VAT is applicable for construction contracts.
Yes, VAT will be applicable because we just have exempt supplies and zero rated supplies as per the royal decree law. Apart from that, whatever we make supplies and construction supplies are taxable at 5%. So we have to apply 5% VAT.
There's a question from Mr. Rajiv Ranjan Dubey. He asks, what will the treatment of reimbursement of expenses like government fees and other actual expenses on behalf of the customer? Is it taxable?
In case of reimbursements like government fees, I believe it will be out of scope of value added taxes. There will be no VAT on government fees, which government will definitely issue a clarification or notification in this respect, like visa fees are there or certain government renewal fees are there, so that those will be exempt out of scope of value added taxes. But apart from other expenses, whatever we have and we are claiming reimbursement from our customers, so in those reimbursement, there should be a point that when we are incurring on customer behalf, in whose name the invoice is there. So in let's suppose in those invoices are addressed to our business, then we can claim input VAT credit on those invoices. And when we are claiming back again to our customer, that means we have paid VAT to those suppliers against which we are claiming the reimbursement. So we can raise a new tax invoice to our client and stating that this value, because when we are reimbursing from the client also wanted what VAT you have paid, you pass on that VAT to me so that I can also claim input VAT credit of those invoices. So they are required to raise tax invoice again back to their client and give stating the whole value what they have paid as a reimbursement, and they have to apply input VAT on the invoice so that the client also claim input VAT credit.
Thank you for the clarifications. The next question is from Kirti Prabhakaran Nair. He asks, please clarify what is included under the purview of exempt supply, Article 47, Financial Services.
See, in financial services, yet the Oman Royal Decree law not clarified in detail. But if we refer to UAE law, KSA, and Bahrain law, they have included loans, products, investments, debt equity instruments, life insurance premium. So these are the things which we believe will be covered within the Oman executive regulation also. So we are still waiting for that, but we believe these are the products will be included.
Thank you. There is a question from an anonymous attendee. He asks, what about free warranty and service of goods VAT applicability?
Yeah, see, free, I should say that we should not say free, because when we are supplying the main product, that main product include the warranty service even also. So that means when the main product was sold, we have applied value added tax at the main product itself. So when we are providing any goods under warranty, those goods just have a warranty value. Without any value, we don't have to charge, and any supplies made under warranty will be free of VAT, because we are not charging the client. So when we are not charging the client, then VAT becomes zero by itself.
Thank you. There is a question from Mr. Mohammad Faisal. He asks, we have a revenue of less than 500K OMR, so we will register later for VAT. But as the VAT will start from 16th of April, can we claim pre-registration VAT incurred on our purchases or expenses from the 16th of April to until registration?
Now, only the law provides the flexibility of to claiming up to maximum period of 30 days. So whatever date we registered, from that date, the last 30 days they allow us to claim input VAT credit. Beyond that, if it is any invoices there, then we cannot claim input VAT credit on those invoices.
Okay, thank you. The next question is again from Kirti Prabhakaran. He asks, please clarify whether VAT is applicable on bank charges like LC commission, documentation charges, telex charges, etc.
Yes, those services, as we in previous slides also we saw that the money component is not taxable, because when it is transferred through any loans, investments, debt equity instruments. But any charges bank institution is taking, so financial services means it will only include the monetary component, but any services which they are charging and having a fee against it, explicitly they are charging, that service will become taxable at 5%. So any charges we pay to the bank, so that will become taxable at 5%.
Thank you. We have another question from Mr. Karthik. He asks if we are selling some insurance products as an intermediary status to our customers and are receiving commission on the sale of insurance policy, then whether VAT is applicable only on commission amount or the entire premium amount, including the commission amount.
See, in case of insurance, we need to see, because some insurance will be zero rated also, like maybe travel insurance, but travel insurance do have some more details which we are believing once executive regulation will come up. So if we are, those insurance company will be taxable at 5%, and any commission if it is there, so that is also taxable at 5%.
Okay. Mr. Vaidyanathan asks, I import a phone from a UAE supplier and they will send it through DHL. Now, what is DHL's obligation under VAT law? Will that be different if I engage the courier instead of the supplier?
See, DHL will always be acting as an agent, clearing and carrying forwarded. So they just take the material which they are shipping it. So the liability falls on us only, who is the buyer. So they will comply with their own regulations, but they are not the buyer in this transaction, and they are not the seller in this transaction. So they are just pick and drop. They are just dispatching the material on our behalf. So they will comply on their part, whatever the VAT regulations are there. But when we import anything, then we have to comply with import transactions, import reverse charge VAT.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Jeevaratnam. He asks, do we need to submit copies of invoices both for local purchases and services and the RCM purchases and services along with the VAT returns, or we just need to maintain them?
Currently, we just have to submit the summarized values to in the VAT return format. But in case of VAT, we are claiming VAT refund, there may be a possibility that the tax authority will call for tax invoices to showcase that whether we have calculated appropriately or not. So it is on the discretion of the tax authorities. They can call the documents even also. Like in case of UAE, they have just established that whenever any person is claiming in refund along with the VAT return, they have given the template. In the template, we have to give each and every detail of the supplier along with their VAT registration number, but they have not called for any tax invoice for the time being. But tax authority can ask us any document at any point of time. Of course, at the time of VAT return audit, VAT audit, then they can call for any information.
Thank you. There is a question from Mr. Mukesh Darji. He asks, will there be a refund process at airport for personal goods taken out as baggage personally on which VAT is paid?
Yes, they can. There are tourist refund provisions are there, so that we can claim refund, right?
There's a question from Mr. Luis D'Souza. He asks, I'm in service industry and I need to raise an invoice on 30th April for the full month of service of 500.
Right. So in this case, what happens that in the law it's also stated that when you are not classifying up to which date the supply is happening, then if we are raising an invoice for the full month of April and services are rendering on a daily basis, then as a best tax practice, we used to say that if you want to avoid tax liability also, so you can make two invoices, or within the one invoice you can specify that up to 15th of April how much is the value, and up from 16th to 30th April, how much is the value. So if we are splitting on the invoice, then from 16th to 30th April, how much is the value, that value will become subject to VAT, and up to 15th of April, that value becomes non-vatable.
Thank you. The next question is from Karthik Kumar. He asks, how does reverse charge mechanism be monitored and controlled by the tax authorities for import of services, since it is voluntary declaration by the service provider, service receiver?
See, it is a self-declaration. Of course, as I in one more previous question, that whenever if we don't, it's not a voluntarily, it is a mandatory requirement which you have to disclose it, declare the values. But if we have skipped something, so at the time of any income tax audit also, they will get to know that these are the import of services invoices are there where we are claiming expenditure. And when they can map from there, and they can say that why we have not put in those values in the VAT return also. So we have to submit those declaration import of services values also under the VAT return.
Okay. There is a question again anonymously. He's asking, where do we have to report or register the import of services and pay the VAT?
We just in case of import of services, the government wants us that to report those values, because sometimes there is a that we have to, they are not asking any reverse charge liability at this point of time. But in other parts of the world, whenever any import is happening, whether in nature of import of goods or in nature of services, the companies are required to pay VAT first, and then they can claim input VAT credit. It's only in GCC countries the government is allowing them that you can disclose as under reverse charge, and simultaneously you can adjust the reverse charge liability with input VAT credit. But in future, if the government take this position differently, and they require companies to report import of services and pay VAT, and then they can claim input VAT credit. So they have to disclose the values, and then they can claim the input VAT credit for the timing immediately in the VAT return itself.
Thank you. Is it possible to take input tax on sales made to external customers if VAT registration is made as a tax group?
Mm, yes, within the tax group, if we are having, and if you can clarify, because I didn't
Okay,
get.
so the question reads like this. Is it possible to take input tax on sales made to external customers if VAT registration is made as a tax group?
Yeah, we can claim if a sale is made to a tax group or external customer is made, right? Sale is made to an
It will
external
not
customer.
be an input VAT, right? When you're making a sales, it is an output VAT.
Right, right, right.
So I guess we are still to, maybe the anonymous attendee can clarify what exactly he wants to ask, and I'll move forward to the next question. Mr. Wasim Khan asks, will power companies whose customers are government entities obliged to charge VAT?
Uh, we are still waiting for detailed executive regulation to come up. Like in case of UAE, Bahrain, and KSA, they, in the detailed executive regulation, they have claimed that services offered to government entities up to 31st of December 31st of December 2023, there will be no VAT will be charged. But for that, there is a document the government's companies have to provide to the suppliers that they don't have to charge VAT. But in the absence of any such clarification in Oman, we have to charge VAT from government entities also.
Thank you. The next question is from again an anonymous attendee. He asks, is VAT applicable on money exchange houses also? If yes, what products and services will be covered?
In money exchange, only the transfer fee or commissions what we are having, that we have to charge as a service which we are providing. But if we are transferring money on someone's behalf, it is a monetary transaction. So on the money itself, there will be no VAT. But on the fees, whatever they are charging on all products and services, that becomes taxable at 5%.
Thank you. The next question is again from anonymous attendee. He asks whether VAT is applicable for government entities which are normally exempt from tax.
No, currently government entities are also a part of the taxable services. So if we are providing any service to government entity, it becomes taxable at 5%. But only thing, if the legislation required, certain type of contracts may become exempt. They cannot charge VAT from the government entities. But that position will be clarified in detailed executive regulations.
So I ask this question again. Is it possible to take input tax credit on sales made to an external customers if VAT registration is made as a group?
See, when we are getting any input tax in the group or any entity within the falling within the group, yes, they can claim input VAT credit. And when they are invoicing to a company which is outside the group, yes, they have to charge output tax on those, and they can adjust that output tax with the input tax also. I believe.
Well explained, Sajalji. The next question is from Mr. Ramachandra. He asks whether transactions in the CSAR, that is the free trade zone, exempt.
Actually, in case of value added tax, I believe there will be no exemption like for free trade zones. They all will be considered as part of within Oman. Like in case of UAE as well, also they have taken all companies, whether they are in free trade zone also, they have the same status as if any company within UAE. So the same provisions, I believe it will follow in Oman as well also. Only certain types of transactions like designated free zone will be there, which they are dealing within, not within Oman. They are just getting materials outside into Oman, which will be exported back outside Oman again. So those businesses will make claims in exemption, but rest other businesses which are in free trade zone also fall required to comply with the regulations.
Thank you. The next question is from Kartik Kumar. He asks, which are all the services in hospital or medical industry chargeable to VAT?
In medical services, they made classification like healthcare services and related goods and services falls under exempt category, while medicines and medical equipment falls under zero rated supplies. So and we used to say that if any detailed executive regulation clarify any position in medicines or medical equipments, or in case of healthcare services, so if nothing is clarified, then we have to classify based on preventive healthcare services and non-preventive healthcare services. If it is preventive healthcare services, then they will enjoy the status of exempt or zero rated. And if it's non-preventive in nature, then it becomes taxable at 5%.
Okay. I have a question from Dr. Kazi. He asks, in case of private period contracts, supplies are post VAT period. So liability anyway arises. So what is the confusion?
Uh, any contract signed in pre-VAT period and supply is happening post-VAT period, right? It's subject to VAT at 5%. Now, in this, it's a good question. Now, law says that if those contract which is concluded in pre-VAT period, so the price, whatever is price is decided in those contracts, and those contract will be testified for VAT clause. If there is no specific VAT clause in those contracts, then whatever price is decided, that price will be deemed as including value added taxes, which means we yes, those supplies will be subject to VAT, but we cannot charge extra VAT because those contracts are silent in VAT clauses. So if the VAT clause is specifically mentioned in those contracts, then we can charge VAT separately on those values.
Okay, there is a statement, I think, from Ms. Vikram Soni. He says Article 86, a taxable person may request to defer payment of the tax due upon import until submission of the tax return for the tax period in which the import took place in accordance with the conditions and by following the procedures determined by the regulations.
Correct.
So now the question follows, can we avail the benefit of clause 86 immediately?
I believe let's see how practically it will happen, because we also believe they will activate these provisions. In some transaction in Bahrain, the clause was mentioned, but the government required them to pay the VAT and then claim input VAT credit. But let's see, I believe the government will give this option that we can defer it, and at the time of filing the VAT return, we can adjust the same with input VAT credit. But practically, let's see how this position is going to be effective.
Thank you. The next question is from Mr. Partha Sarthi. He asks, will monthly fees paid to overseas marketing consultant who is rendering service overseas be considered in the reverse charge mechanism?
Yes, it will be covered because it falls under import of services, and we have to self-declare in the VAT return also, and we have to comply with reverse charge, and then we can claim input VAT credit also. Yes.
Okay. Again, there's a question from Mr. Vikram Soni who asks, what is the VAT applicability on FOC supplies?
FOC supplies, those supplies falls under the deemed supplies provisions. So FOC supplies, currently the detailed executive regulation is not there. So in case of FOC supply, the law will specify a certain value. Up to that value, if you are supplying, that becomes no VAT will be there. But beyond that value, if you are supplying in a particular year, and it will be regulated by customer wise also. So per customer per year and the total value wise also it will be regulated. If it is exceeding that value, then it becomes taxable at 5%.
Thank you. Again, he is asking what is the VAT applicability on FOC supplies to government authorities, local or external customers or related parties. So it'll be the same what you mentioned,
Correct.
right?
in that case, the law never make classification that we supplying to any person you are supplying. We have to see the from the value side, whichever, if the value is exceeding the threshold limit, then it will be taxable at 5%.
I've come to the last question now. It is from Mr. Parthasarthi. Will VAT on export freight eligible for VAT credit?
VAT on export freight. So we are exporting, and see, in case of export, when it's any freight is there, as per the article, it falls under international transportation of goods and passengers. So if it's an international export of services which is falls under international, it becomes zero rated. So the transaction is taxable, but it is at 0% rate. So we are not going to pay any VAT on export from forwarder fees.
With this, I end with the question and answer session. Thank you so much for your patience and your clarity in answering to all the questions. I now request CA Sanil Varghese to present you with a certificate as a token of our appreciation for conducting this session.
Thank you.
Okay. Where is the certificate? Displayed, no?
Displayed, yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes down to my.
Okay, CS Sajal Arora, the certificate is on the way.
No
Thank
problem.
you very much for your excellent show today, and you have answered all the questions raised by our members very clearly, and accept our recall the certificate on behalf of the chapter. Go ahead, Silpa.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I'm so new at this technology bit. I can do the talking, but I'm not very sure about how I display the certificate.
No problem, no problem.
Okay, it's okay. Go ahead.
Sajeev ji, can you do that for me? I mean, Sajeev ji, can you do that for me, please? Anyway, it was, we'll try to figure out the technology. Sajal ji, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thanks for inviting me and giving an opportunity to speak on this platform. Really appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we got your certificate on the screen for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please accept this and we will send it to you by email as well.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
And thank you so much. I'm hearing so many thanks and so many appreciations I can see on the chat box. So thank you so much for your time, Sajal ji. I now request CA Sanil ji to give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, okay. First of all, let me thank CA Prabhajit Singh, who with this initial address, which was very informative regarding the history of VAT in GCC countries and how it was implemented in various countries across GCC. Thank you, CA Prabhajit. And secondly, may I thank CA Sajal Arora for his excellent presentation, as well as he has answered the questions very proactively to all the members and cleared their doubts. So we look forward to your participation in the coming seminars too. Thank you, Sajal, for your excellent things. And maybe we should be organizing certain QA sessions alone with one or more panelists in the coming days. Maybe we will plan that in the future, along with myself, along with Prabhuji, as well as CEO Ravi. We will try to set up a QA session alone coming before the April 16th, so that all the doubts of the members are cleared, or as far as possible it can be cleared by the chapter. Now, coming to the last but not the least, the CBFS for their support as always, and for the members for their participation, taking time off this Saturday and participating in this event. And of course, very big thank you to Shilpa. Even during a break, she what you call had her fillers in. So thank you very much, C.A. Shilpa.
Welcome.
Okay, bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you
Thank you.
again. With this,
Thank
we formally close today's event. Today is 13th of February, so tomorrow is the Valentine's Day. So take your rest of the weekend and try and shop something for your spouses, for your family, for your children, and stay safe, stay home, stay blessed. Goodbye
you.
to everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Shilpa ji, for a wonderful presentation of today's event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.